It was announced earlier that the FBI has foiled a plot in which a militia group over in Michigan was planning on kidnapping that state's governor, Governor Gretchen Whitmer, who has been criticized recently for her lockdown of the state. As we remember earlier in the year, there was a rally, and actually there was protests where actually armed individuals, where it is lawful to carry, actually marched into the state house. There wasn't a bunch of coverage of that at the time. And apparently this plot was organized via different private Facebook groups as well. So we'll pop in over here. We'll take a look as we go over. Boom. This is brought to us this is by CNN, as you can see. Spamming me there. 13 charged in plot to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Yes. As we can see, 13 people were charged today in an alleged domestic terrorism plot to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, federal and state officials announced. The alleged scheme included plans to overthrow several state governments that the suspects believe are violating the U.S. Constitution, including the governor of Michigan and Whitmer, according to federal criminal complaint. 6 people were charged federally with conspiracy to kidnap, and 7 other people associated with a militia group, quote, Wolverine Watchmen, end quote, were charged by the state Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel announced. So, if you've been following this at all, Governor Whitmer has come under a great deal of fire over this. There are a lot of businesses that are failing. My personal opinion is if the government closes it, the government owns it. That is my personal opinion with this situation here. But as we can see, as it also goes on in the article, that does this overly surprise anybody? I mean, you look at the political tensions that are going on. Yeah, this is surprising to a lot of people. This is actually surprising to the governor herself as well. You're going to get criticism, but apparently they had actually, one individual had bought a taser because essentially they were planning on kidnapping her. My assumption based on this is they were going to try to tase her and then try to throw something along the lines of a mock trial charging her with treason, violation of the Constitution before the election. This sounds like domestic terrorism to me. I mean, again, individuals are innocent until proven guilty, but apparently the feds became aware of this. An informant was sent to infiltrate the group in and of itself. Apparently there was meeting under one of these individuals, the leader of the group's business, by a trap door under a rug or something like that there. You're just looking at this and it's just a continued escalation. Because we've had protests. We've had riots. Heck, even one of our NewsQuest correspondents and stuff back at the roving rally in Chicago looks like he got shot at. You can see that on the NewsQuest channel that I don't really shell out all that much. It's just pain begets pain, hatred breeds hatred, violence spawns violence. And in this case, there were a group of individuals that felt their constitutional rights were being infringed upon. And they were planning on acting violence against the governor and against other law enforcement officials. It was to the point where they actually mock detonated an improvised explosive device. And they were potentially planning on actually affixing this to a bridge to distract law enforcement, where they could then potentially storm and then kidnap the governor. This is where we're at, folks. We are literally memeing ourselves into oblivion. You see this time and again. And depending on, quote unquote, what side you're on and everything, you look at what's going on the other side, and it's escalating. It makes people hate each other. It makes people just want to do horrible things. Even look at what happened with President Trump. President Trump came down with COVID. And there were a lot of folks that were wishing that he lose his life. I ain't the biggest fan of President Trump. I may have voted for the dude, and I may disagree with so many of the things that he does, but just even if the president is an a-hole, you don't wish pain upon other people. And you don't start plotting to kidnap your governor about this. Because what this is going to do? Okay, maybe this was more of a right-wing group. What's that going to do? My opinion, you're probably going to see more left-wing escalation. And say you're plotting to do this, we're going to do this. And the cycle is just going to continue to perpetuate. I see you there, Joe. Shout out to my patrons, Joe Franco and Dave M. This broadcast is helped made possible by viewers like you. But we'll pop back to the article for a second and just cover just a couple more things real quick. So, the individuals in state custody are suspected to have attempted to identify the home addresses of law enforcement officers in order to target them, made threats of violence intended to instigate a civil war, and engaged in planning and training for an operation to attack the Capitol building of Michigan and to kidnap government officials, including the governor of Michigan, according to Nessel, who is the Attorney General. And if you've been following this as well, it was recently ruled by the Michigan Supreme Court that the governor's lockdown was unlawful. It was ruled that way. She filed an injunction, or at least on her behest, to continue to have it shut down. As far as I remember, that was all pending as well. So, it goes on to other things as well, and this is one of the things where the president in the debate, whether you love or hate the guy, he basically was given a 1-foot putt. It's like, Mr. President, will you denounce white supremacy? He said, sure. There have been times where he has denounced it, but it's just, I saw something about the Proud Boys actually having an event with Black Lives Matter where they were both denouncing white supremacy. Mr. President, you had a 1-foot putt. And even the sheer fact when Joe Biden brought up the Proud Boys, it's the sheer fact that the president didn't even just say, it's like, if he didn't know about it, just say, I have no idea who the heck those are. Because at one point, that's what he said about David Duke. This was several years after he had condemned David Duke. At this point, I don't even know if the president is trolling or the sheer fact where he's just like, how hard is it to say, I completely and unequivocally denounce white supremacy. Boom! Done! You get your birdie. We're done. And the sheer fact he would even flirt with that just gives me incredible concern. Like, what the heck is going on? Why? As we can see here, a militia group, a confidential informant, and a trapdoor. So basically, we kind of already covered over this as well. Apparently, one of the individuals was saying something about gathering 200 men. As we can see, the number of individuals instigated within this in itself, it was 13. Yeah, basically, one of the individuals, Mr. Fox, explained that they would try the governor in Michigan for treason, that he said would execute the plan before the November 2020 elections, according to the criminal complaint. Again, in my opinion, this looks like some individuals that were trying to instigate widespread civil conflict as well. Well, they got caught. The FBI did their jobs, and they got them. And we have our quote. The attendees discussed plans for assaulting the Michigan State Capitol, countering law enforcement first responders, and using Molotov cocktails to destroy police vehicles. The attendees also discussed plans for an additional meeting during the first weekend of July where they also conduct firearms and tactical training, according to the criminal complaint. The conspirators conducted surveillance of Whitmer's vacation home on 2 occasions in late August and September, the complaint said. Croft and Fox discussed detonating explosive devices to divert police from the vacation hold, according to the FBI. And as you can see here, we already covered that they successfully detonated an IED wrapped in shrapnel to test its anti-personnel effectiveness. They're trying to hurt and maim people. It sounds something similar to what we had here in Boston with the marathon bombing. People died. Hundreds were injured. We can't have this. We need to have law. We need to have order. We need to have justice. It's a very sad state of affairs. We're just seeing this going on with the Republic here. As we can see, the FBI said Fox Garb and Harrison Franks plan to meet on October 7th, which that was yesterday, to pay for explosives and swap tactical gear. So that apparently is when they were picked up, it seems, because they had their day in court, and we have this announcement here today. So, yep, they were using Facebook groups. Facebook has been cooperating with the authorities as well. And you did have the Michigan Republicans denouncing this, while at the same time calling out Governor Whitmer for taking a shot at the president as well. So apparently politicians are going to politic, and we're all going crazy right now because we think everyone else that disagrees with us seems to be evil. Makes me very sad, but hopefully folks will wake up. And it ain't going to come to that, but this is important. Just wanted to keep you guys in the loop. So thank you all for watching. Peace out, everybody. Be safe, and long